welcome back to the Craft Castle. My name is Ashley and I have a crafting confession. The confession is that I have had these 3 rolls of HTV for well over a year just sitting here in the Craft Castle in its full packaging. Why? Because I don't know what to create with it. I am definitely afraid of these 3 rolls of HTV and I have no idea why, because it's just HTV. So the wonderfulness apparently of this HTV is that it's UV. So right now they look like this opaque weird color, but when we put them in the sunlight, I'm going to show you. So we're going to open up my window and I'm going to throw them out here. And the UV is supposed to change the color of this HTV and make it look absolutely amazing. So just being outside for just a minute, you can see that color changed. We got purple, pink, and yellow. I mean, it was only out there for a second, but look at that. Why am I afraid of this? I don't know. So here's the deal. This stuff right here on the packaging, like this one, it says UV clear to gentle yellow. I opened it up because it kind of have you ever seen glow in the dark HTV? And glow in the dark HTV has like a milky texture to it, or a milky color to it. That's kind of what this is. Although on the packaging, it says UV clear to gentle yellow. Well, I opened it up and I peeled some, and this is where I get caught up on what in the world I should create with it, because it's not clear. Unless when you press it, does it turn clear? Because, do you see that? This isn't clear. It kind of looks just like a glow-in-the-dark HTV, which has a milky color to it. So, I'm on the struggle because what in the world can I create? Because this isn't technically clear. Like, what can I create that, will look good when it's not in the UV light? I don't even know. So today what we're gonna do is we are gonna bust this out. I am tired of holding on to these 3 rolls of HTV. I need to figure out, does this turn good or not? Is this, is this stuff worth it? I don't even know. So what we're going to do today, and I've actually consulted my daughter on this, and she found a great clip art in Cricut Design Space. I'm going to go over to Cricut Design Space with you, and I am going to customize this clip art that my daughter found to work with this UV HTV. I also have regular black HTV because the design she picked out does require some black. And we are going to get wild. I debated on whether or not I should do this. If I should just grab a random old towel or blank that I have here in the craft room, or should I do a full commitment and do a shirt? And I actually went to Target and I picked up a crop top. I don't wear crop tops. But since I figured my daughter picked out the clip art, maybe if the shirt turns out good, she'll wear the shirt because she does love a good crop top. So I have a crop top here. The cheap crafter in me wants to just go to only doing a towel and, just like an old random towel that I have here. And if I end up liking it, go to the shirt. But then the logical sense person in me goes, I don't want to create something twice. If I'm not going to like it, I'm not going to like it. But if I do end up liking it, great. So I think that's where I'm at. I think I'm just going to go big. And I'm going to use a brand new t-shirt that I found at Target. What do you think? Before we do anything, I need to know first, have you played with this UV HTV before? Because no kidding, I have had this for a year up in here and I just am roadblocked because it's technically not clear. It says it on the thing, but it definitely isn't clear. If I put this up against the white shirt, you're going to see a milky color. Unless once you press it, does it become clear once you press it? I don't even know. I have no idea. Never played with this stuff. Okay. Very first thing is I am going to take you over to Cricut Design Space. I am going to show you the clip art and we're going to customize the clip art to fit our needs. And then we'll go and cut and press this onto an actual blank. We're not going to go first. We're going to test this out. We are just going to hit the ground running and hope to goodness that it all ends up working out in the end. Are you ready to find out? Let's go. If you wanted to create this file with me, you are going to need both of these clip arts found in Cricut Design Space. You will also need to pay for Cricut Access in order to use these files. Now, in the description of this video, you will see 2 hashtag numbers. What you want to do is take one of the hashtag numbers, copy it, and you want to go into images. And over here in this search bar, you want to paste in the hashtag number and then press return. When you do that, you will find the first clip art. You'll just want to click on it and press add to canvas. Then going back into the video description, you'll find the second hashtag number and you want to do the same exact process. Once you have both of these clip arts onto your working canvas, then you can follow along and create this with me. So for this project, I have 3 different types of UV HTV, and I want the sunset of this palm tree to be the UV colors. So what I'm thinking is that I need to make a shirt that looks good when it's not in UV light, but then when you go into the UV light, something is revealed. And I think that something would be cute as a sunset, or at least my daughter seems to think it'll look cute when we're all said and done. The problem with this image is that technically it is all one thing. So you would only be able to do one color. However, I can customize this a little bit more to my liking and my needs. How we're going to do that is we're going to take this, and I actually want 4 of these copies. So we're going to take 2 right here, copy and paste, Command C and Command V, and we're going to take this down right here. Now, for the meantime, we can take this popsicle thing and just move this down here. We don't need this right now. So the reason why we need 4 is because I actually want 4 different colors in this one clip art. I want the palm trees to be in black HTV, and then I want my sunset to be the 3 different UV HTV colors that I have. In order to do that, what I need to do is on the very first one, I need to come down here, making sure it's clicked, come down here to contour. I want to delete everything but the top sunset line that's right here. The easiest way to do that is just press hide all contours. And then what was left over is the palm tree. We're going to click on the top sunset thing, and then we're going to click on this palm tree. And now you can kind of see over here, we can't move this box, but you can kind of see over here that things were moving around. And now I only have that top sunset. That's perfect. When I have that done, I'm going to click out of that. Now, if you discovered that you didn't erase everything that you needed to, all you would need to do is go back into contour and change it again. Okay, now that we have that top one, we are going to come over here onto this one, and we are going to come down here to contour. Now what I want is these 2 lines, these sunset lines, I want to keep those. So the easiest way to do it, because we have a whole lot of pieces over here, is just to press hide all contours again. What you're left with is just the palm tree. That's okay. You're going to remember to get rid of that here in a second. But I want to click on my sunset lines that I want to keep, making sure that you get all these smaller pieces. Once I get them all selected, I'm going to come and click on the palm tree. So what you're going to be left with is just the 2 lines behind the palm tree. When you're done, you can click out of that. So this is what you're going to be left with. And it does look really weird. That's okay. So we're going to move this over and kind of align it to here. Now what I want to do is coming over here to this one, I only want the bottom 2 lines left on this particular clip art. So I'm going to come over here to contour. And doing the same thing we did before, we are going to hide all contours. However, this time I want to only click the bottom 2 lines. And then I also want to go back in and click the palm tree. When I'm done doing that, we can just click out of that. We're going to drag this over here up to the top. Okay, now for this last one, we only want the palm tree. So we are going to press contour again. And we are going to hide all contours. Now we're left with just the palm trees. So we're going to click out of that. So now what we have is a clip art that now is separated into 4 different pieces. We're going to have black, 2 lines for one color of UV, another 2 lines for another color of UV, and then this one right here. So now what I need to do is make sure that we arrange this back to where it needs to go. So we are going to put this palm tree over here, and I'm going to align this up to where it looks nice and good. Now I'm going to take my second line and I'm going to do the same thing, making sure that it gets lined up. And we're going to take this last line, doing the same thing. We are going to just drag this down, making sure it's nice and lined up. Okay, when everything is lined back up, now what I want to do is color this, because I did say I want to use the lines for my UV HTV. So for the very top one, I am going to use my UV to lavender color. So I am going to click on the black, come up here to the black swatch, and we're going to change it to a lavender color. Now for the next 2 lines, I am going to do the UV to hot pink. So I'm going to come up here to the black, and we're going to change this over to pink. And then for the bottom one, I'm going to do the UV to gentle yellow. So I'm going to change it from black to a yellow. Now what I want to do is add a little bit more to this design, and that's where we're going to use this Hello Summer popsicle set. However, the only thing that I want to use is the summer lettering. So I am going to right click and press ungroup, and I'm going to move over this right here and select all these popsicles and delete them because I don't need them. I only want the lettering. And now what you can see is this clip art is one whole clip art, just like what originally was over here. Now I only want the letters of summer. So what I'm going to do is selecting on Hello Summer, and I'm going to come down here to contour, and I am going to select everything in Hello, even the little portions of HELLO, get rid of them all and click out. So now all we have is the word summer. And I'm going to drag this and put this close to the bottom of our clip art. Now what I'm going to do is just select everything right here. I want to make sure everything is nice and center, and we are going to align this horizontally. You can see that summer did shift a little bit. That's perfect. I want to make sure that this is nice and center. Now let's just say that we did not do this next step. This next step is kind of important. So if we were to just leave the clip art the way that we have it set up, you like the way that this design looks, right? If we were to go over here into make, what would happen is this summer would be on a different mat with the palm trees. That is a problem because what we want is the summer and the palm trees to be together on one mat in the placement that we've placed it. So what you need to do is selecting the palm trees. You want to press shift on your keyboard and also the Hello Summer lettering. And you want to come down here and press attach. What just happened is you told the Cricut that you want to cut the palm trees and the summer on the same mat in the same fashion that we've aligned it onto our design area. So now when we go over here into make, what you're going to see is the palm trees aligned directly in the middle of summer, and this is what we're going to use to be able to line up all the rest of our HTV. Now, I did miss a step over in the design process. This part is definitely optional, but I always do it when I'm working with HTV. The one thing that I always do when working with HTV is when I'm done with my design, first what we want to do is resize this to the size that you need. And then what I love to do is come up here to flip, and I flip horizontal. The reason why I do this in the design process is that when you do HTV, you have to mirror. That is, you will ruin HTV if you don't mirror your HTV. Doing it this way just gives you an added buffer, because what you can do is now that we have our design the way that it's supposed to look, when you cut your HTV, you can save your file But then when we go to make, everything is going to be mirrored for you. Your text should not be legible to you when you cut out on HTV. Now, if you happen to forget to mirror, then you have this right here and you can mirror it. Now, it's obviously going to be forward facing for us now because I've already done it in the design process. But the reason why I like to mirror in the design process versus here is you have to remember to mirror this and then mirror every single mat that you are going to be cutting. If you're only doing one mat, it's really not that bad. But if you have 4, and I've done designs where I've had like 8 and 9, you have to go back in and make sure and mirror every single mat. And I can tell you right now, as an experienced Cricut crafter, there are so many times where I forget to just randomly click number 3 and click mirror. I don't know why I always hit a roadblock when I do HTV projects this way versus just mirroring it in the design process. Okay, now that we have our design filled out, what we want to do now is go to our Cricuts and cut this out. So let's head over there. Okay, now what we want to do is press continue on our computer, and we want to let the Cricut load onto our computer. Now I need an 11-inch piece of black HTV. So I'm going to put this onto my Cricut mat. I have a little bit of hangover over here, so I'm just going to trim this up to size. When you're working with HTV, there's always going to be a carrier sheet, and this carrier sheet is going to be like really shiny. You want to put the carrier sheet side down. If you are unsure what side the carrier sheet is, all you need to do is just peel just a corner of your HTV off. This plastic piece is what you put onto your Cricut mat. This is actually your HTV. You want the Cricut to cut on this and leave your HTV carrier sheet intact so you can put this onto your shirt. Okay, so we want to make sure that our design is mirrored, which it is. I'm going to insert that into my Cricut. Now my Cricut right now is set to the cardstock plus mode. I want to change this over to just iron on mode. Then you just want to press the blinking C button. Now I am going to prep a second mat, and the second mat for me is going to be yellow. So I am just going to open up the yellow UV HTV. Do you think that this is going to look cute? My daughter picked out this design, and I am just unsure on if this is going to look cute or not. I am so nervous about this HTV. I don't know why, but I am so nervous about it. So for this next one, I just need like a couple inches. So I'm just going to trim a couple inches off this HTV and put this back on so it doesn't unravel for me. And I am going to put this on my second Cricut mat. And my Cricut mat's not very sticky, so I'm going to use a brayer, and I am going to push this down into my mat. You can see like before it doesn't want to stick very well, but now it's pretty much stuck on there. Okay, whenever you're using a brand new material, you always want to check to make sure your cut settings were good. So I am just going to peel a little bit, and it's weeding out perfectly. So what I'm going to do is eject the mat. Had this not cut perfectly, I would have pressed the blinking C button again and made the machine recut the material. Now we just want to press the blinking C button again, and we want to cut out all of the material that we need to use for this project. Now, if you have a bunch of HTV extras, what you could do is trim up any extra, because this right here could be a usable scrap, and you can save this for later. Then what you want to do is just weed out everything you do not want. So I am going to weed out the big portion of this black HTV. And then what you want to do is go back in and you want to weed out all the inner parts of your decal. And then you want to do the same thing for every other HTV that you are using. Okay, now that we have it all weeded out, what we need to do is go over to the heat press. But what I wanted to show you first, before we go over there, is inside the wrapper of All Tech Wrap vinyl, they give you settings on what you should cut and press this stuff. So I think what I'm going to do is, this has a color change, which that's what mine is. I'm going to press it for 275 for 8 to 10 seconds, and this right here is a cool peel, which means that we need to peel this when the HTV is fully cooled. So let's head over to the heat press and press this on my t-shirt. So now over at the heat press, we're gonna need to turn this on and change our time and temperature. So we're gonna turn this on, change the temp to 275, doing 8 seconds. And then we are gonna wait for the heat press to change from red to green. Now, as my heat press heats up, all I'm gonna do is I am just going to take off my label and also my tag, because you don't want this stuff to melt in your heat press. The other thing that you're gonna wanna grab is your silicone sheet, or some type of covering parchment paper will work to cover your HTV and protect your heat press. Now that I have all my stickers and tags taken off, what I'm going to do is I am going to actually fold my shirt in half. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay my shirt folded. I want this to be folded, and I'm going to actually press this right now. It's okay if your heat press is not heated up all the way, because what we're doing here is, one, we're taking out the wrinkles, but we are putting a hard crease line in our shirt, and that is going to tell us where the direct middle is to our shirt. So when we open this up, you're gonna see that there is this hard line that is right here and directly in the middle of the shirt. This is perfect because now I know exactly where to put my decal, because I'm going to show you that we are going to line up our decal to that middle. Okay, so I'm just going to lay my shirt out flat, making sure that there's no wrinkles in the front of my shirt. Now this is going to be hard to see, but there is a middle line right here on my shirt. I am going to do the very first layer, which is going to be the biggest layer for this one. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to line up my letters, making sure that they are lined up. Once I have them folded, what I did was I folded it to where the transfer tape is, the non-sticky side is together. Now all you want to do is pinch your carrier sheet. Only your carrier sheet. You don't want to do your HTV. Okay, then when we have that done, you're gonna see that there is like a pinch mark in the carrier sheet right here and right here. You're gonna want to line up your lines to your carrier sheet to the lines on your shirt. Now, I always like to do 3 fingers to the top of my garment, making sure it's nice and flat. Now, all that prep work, we are now at the green. So I am going to put over my silicone mat and I am going to press this. Now, when it comes to regular HTV, this is a warm peel, so you don't have to wait for it to cool in order to peel this. So I am just going to peel off this black transfer tape. Okay, now we are going to start at the very bottom of our HTV decal. So this is going to be the one color of UV, and we are going to line this up to our t-shirt. Okay, and we only want to work at one color at a time. So what you want to do now is, with this on there, you want to put your Teflon sheet over the top of your decal. You want to make sure that your Teflon sheet covers your entire decal. Otherwise, if the HTV touches your heat press, it's going to melt into the heat press, ruining your heat press. So you just want to make sure that your entire decal is covered. And then we want to press this for the 8 seconds. Okay, now remember, this right here is a cool peel. So you do not want to peel this right away. You want to let it cool for a couple seconds. Okay, now that it's cooled, we are going to be able to peel off the transfer tape. And I'm glad I've chosen a white shirt for this, because this right here definitely did not turn out clear like it states. It says UV clear, but it ain't clear. It's actually white. So just know that for this reason, this is exactly what my suspicions were. Okay, doing the second layer, you're gonna want to line this up. Okay, doing the same thing we've done before, we are going to take our Teflon sheet and cover up our entire decal. And then we're gonna press this again for the 8 seconds. Now I would like to note here that if your decal did not stick on all the way, like a couple of my corners was peeling just a little bit, it's okay, because what we're gonna do is we are gonna press all of these UV layers at the 8-second mark. Then when we are done pressing all the layers, we are going to repress it for the 10 seconds without any transfer tape. So we are gonna get a good lock seal on our garment. Same thing as before, we are gonna wait for this to cool because this is a cool peel. When it's cooled, you just want to take off the transfer tape, and you can see, like what I was saying, I'm not entirely sure if you can see it, but the corner, this right corner right here, didn't stick all the way. That's okay, because we are gonna do one good final press at the very end. Okay, last but not least, we are just going to add in the very top sunset of our design. Using our Teflon sheet again, we are gonna make sure and cover the entire decal, and then we're gonna repress this for 8 seconds. And we're gonna let this cool, peeling off the transfer tape after it's cooled. When you have your transfer tape peeled off, the very last one, you want to put your Teflon sheet back over the top of your decal. We never want our HTV to ever come in contact with our heat press. You're gonna wanna change your time over to the 10 seconds, and we are going to put this back into our heat press with no transfer tape on anything, and we are gonna press that button for it to automatically close. And here is our finished shirt. I kind of really like it. Okay, the shirt is finished, and what do you think? What do you think of what it looks like right now with no color changing? Is it cute? Is it not? I'm definitely not a crop tee type of person, but I think the design is okay. It definitely looks really plain, just like this, but once we put it in the sun, it is going to look amazing. That being said, just like I said before, the thing said that this is technically clear and it's not. So if you were to put this on a black shirt, you're gonna have white lines on the black shirt. So just keep that in mind when you go to use this for like a colored shirt. It is going to show white, not clear. But let's put this in sun and we'll see what the changes look like after it's color changed. Okay. First, it literally only took seconds for the color change to come into effect. However, do you see these lines in my pink and in my purple? They're gonna be harder to see in the yellow, but you can definitely see them in the pink right here. Do you see those lines? That's weird. I have had this sitting out in the sun and those aren't changing colors. I don't know what happened to the UV. What happened to this? I think it looks really cute. One thing to note here is that it goes, like the color changing happens really quick. It also goes away really quick too. So just keep that in mind, but I think it's really cute when it is color changed. It gives it a little bit more. I'm just really confused about those lines. Like what happened? What happened to my UV? Why is it not UV everywhere? Look, and as I talk to you, it's like disappearing. It's crazy how fast it happens and it's crazy how fast it goes away. So anyway, what is your opinion on this UV stuff? Are you a yes, you're gonna buy this, or you're gonna pass and do something else? For me personally, I think that I'm just going to pass. Having it blank like this isn't my favorite because it just looks like an oddly designed shirt just like this. But I mean, I don't know. What's your opinion? Maybe you can convince me. Also, if you have used the UV stuff before and you have also had those lines, but then you figured out how to fix that, please let me know in the comments of this video because I don't want my end results of my shirt to look like this. I'm gonna go give this to my daughter. Hopefully she'll wear it. All right, y'all, I hope I inspired you to create, and I'll see you later.